Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment. Anyway, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
So if you would have told me 10 years ago that I would be getting arrested, going to prison deliberately, it would have seemed completely bizarre.
This is Eddie Whittingham. He's a recent college graduate, and he's a member of Just Stop Oil. We're talking to him over video at his home in Exeter in the UK. He's eager to talk, but he also seems tense.
I mean, the story of the last few years of my life has kind of been a perpetual struggle of figuring out what to do in the face of the greatest crisis that we've ever faced.
By now, Eddie had already been arrested 9 times for protests. Some of those even landed him in prison. Others made national news. But there was one that seemed to be weighing on him really heavily today. The one he staged at his own graduation from the University of Exeter.
I don't think I've ever felt worse, really. It was one of, I had been on multiple actions before. As I say, I think I'd been arrested 8 times leading up to that day. So I was fully used to the process of going through the criminal justice system. As I said, even been in prison for a week. But
what made that day different?
Well, it's because you're on your home turf, and you're in a position where I should be celebrating today. I was just sort of sitting through my ceremony. I don't think I've ever felt so awful in my life, especially leading up to an action.
Wait, so what exactly did Eddie do?
Well, he used this souped-up fire extinguisher to spray orange paint in the courtyard after the ceremony. No! All while shouting, "Just Stop Oil."
Okay, that doesn't sound so serious.
Yeah, but he was accused of 2 counts of criminal damage, plus breaching his bail conditions from other protests he'd done.
Yeah, so I went from my graduation ceremony to a police cell in the space of about an hour.
Since then, the university has banned him from stepping foot on campus.
We were hoping to see him in London, but he's banned from the entire city.
Also, he's wearing an ankle monitor, and he's not allowed to leave his home after 9 p.m.
It's quite common to second guess yourself in situations like this. Am I the crazy one? Am I crazy for doing something like this?
All these arrests, time spent in jail, and bail conditions are taking their toll. Eddie seems somber, even frustrated.
He tells us he'd seriously thought about dropping out of university to focus on climate activism.
You have to do things which appear shocking and which are disruptive. They would be very weird. They would be very antisocial things to do if we were in normal times, but we're not in normal times, and that's why we do them, because it breaks the media silence that exists around the climate crisis.
I mean, this is a young college graduate who has a criminal record and has to wear an ankle monitor because of nonviolent and honestly kind of innocuous protests that are about saving the planet.
You've seen Just Stop Oil's shocking stunts. We've told you who funds them, and you've heard how they're trained. But what happens when these people take that training out into the real world?
Now, we're going to follow this group as they break the law, some of them for the very first time.
You're about to hear what happens when someone who's absolutely terrified for their future gets arrested for demanding their leaders take action.
And then gets labeled a criminal by those same leaders.
I'm Alessandra Ram.
And I'm Samantha Oltman.
This is Sabotage from Good Luck Media, Episode 5, The Criminals.
Hello there. Anybody want to tell me why you're all here? All gathered?
Field trip.
Sorry?
Field trip.
A field trip. You're all here for a field trip, is that correct?
It's Monday morning. About 24 people are milling nervously around a coffee shop at a busy London intersection called Brent Cross. It's about 7:45 in the morning, and it's starting to rain.
Okay.
But we wanted to be here before the protest starts.
And apparently, so did the police.
Does anyone want to make themselves known or their intentions known to me? No? Okay.
That's a high-ranking police officer. He's standing in front of a group of Just Stop Oil protesters and clearly hoping someone will crack.
This morning it's funny.
Did you hear what they said, though?
Yeah, they're on a field trip.
Field trip.
They're from different parts of...
Sam and I are here with our field producer, Andy. We're hoping to speak to people before things kick off. People are mostly dressed in outdoor gear, like they're about to go on a hike. Some are carrying backpacks or leaning against the walls of the cafe. And a few of them are smoking a joint.
This coffee is really good. Okay. Good coffee.
Sam and I are over-caffeinated and a little on edge. There are more people here than we expected. Suddenly, we spot someone.
And it's the one person we've been hoping to find in this city, Phoebe Plummer.
They went viral for throwing soup on Van Gogh's sunflowers, and they're kind of the reason we're doing this story in the first place. We've been trying to talk to them for months.
It turns out they're the queen today, which means they're wrangling the bees ahead of the action. And there are a lot of people to wrangle.
Yeah, this might be a bit manic. Possibly I'm not getting on the road today because I've got a trial.
It's crowded in the cafe, but Phoebe is chatty and even greets both of us with a hug. We actually had no idea they'd be here. It's a reminder that Just Stop Oil isn't telling us everything.
Yeah. I'll have to rush off to trial.
What is this trial for?
It's a Section 12 arrest, so a previous slow marching arrest from June, July? Yeah.
Now that we're finally face-to-face with Phoebe, we notice how people kind of buzz around them. They have a sort of magnetic quality. And, of course, the neon pink hair really grabs your attention.
Here, has the turnout been this big for marches typically?
So this isn't everybody. There's other groups meeting in other locations. I'm not sure where.
Oh, so there's people marching in different parts of the city?
No, so we're all going to be marching together, but we're just meeting to get briefed in different places, yeah.
I didn't realize they're spread out. That's a good idea. Different locations.
Okay, so now we know. The march is going to be even bigger than we thought. And people are starting to gather outside the cafe.
Off to the side, we see Phoebe go up to a few young guys and give them instructions.
Oh, yeah, I heard Phoebe speaking to you and saying you're going to be in the back of the march.
Yeah.
I have a guess about why, but can you explain?
Just because I'm a little experienced at it, and I feel like hopefully I know how to keep calm in those situations. The back is usually where you get a lot of abuse because you get cars trying to drive into you and stuff.
This is Aaron.
I might maybe potentially go to prison for this. I'm willing to do it. So.
And not only is he willing to go to prison, he's willing to stay there. Because this isn't his first arrest, he tells us he'll probably be in prison for about a month.
But that is all part of the plan.
The police and the court systems are at breaking point. I personally have seen it. It's absolute chaos, and the amount of effort it takes for the police to arrest one person who's non-complying is pretty extreme. So we think that if we can get enough people to do this, the police will basically break and be unable to arrest their way out of it. I'm going in with people I know, so I'm quite excited for it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm ready for it.
As we talk with Aaron, you can feel that the tension is building.
There are a bunch of police currently encircled here.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely crazy.
That's the whole point.
Well, they're on the move. Let's Fallon. Let's go.
Dozens of Just Stop Oil activists start walking, and about a dozen police officers, plus Sam, Andy, and I, follow. Picture a bunch of activist types in hiking gear, London cops in their little checkered hats, and 3 journalists with press badges and a giant fuzzy boom mic. It's quite the mashup.
Also, we're all still following traffic laws, even waiting in the crosswalk for the light to change.
Once we're all on the other side of the busy intersection, everyone suddenly stops. And quickly, I see some people's hands are shaking. They pull out the bright orange vests and banners. It's starting.
But we realize we haven't seen anyone we know from the training we attended in the last episode. And we're wondering, did any of them decide to go through with it?
Still not seeing Jake.
Yeah.
I wonder if he just got cold feet.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then we see him. Jake Cosley, who you'll remember, told us a couple days ago that he was still making his mind up about the slow march.
He and a group of other activists actually emerged from a different building to join the others.
Just like Phoebe said, people are joining the march from different locations. And right as they take their first steps on the road, police officers rush the group and start arresting people.
Do you understand the consequence of you not moving out of the road?
I understand. And
you will be arrested.
I understand the consequence.
Do you understand the impact that will have on your personal life in the future?
I do. I also
CPS checks, opportunities for jobs and progression.
Jake is one of the very first people to get arrested. And it's in the most polite, British, Jake way possible.
This is your final opportunity to move yourself out the road before you will be arrested.
I understand.
Okay. Are you happy now?
It's not personal.
No, it's not about personal
at all, sir. The police commissioner to look into active genocide against the people of this country.
I don't understand what genocide's got to do with it.
Okay.
But, come with me now, sir. You've been placed under arrest now.
After all that, attending trainings, traveling to London, and staying in a safe house, Jake is probably on the road for all of 3 minutes before being put in handcuffs.
You're now under arrest for breach of Section 6 and 7 of the Public Order Act 2023.
Jake was arrested within the first 5 minutes.
I know.
He's not.
He didn't feel like he got the full experience.
We'll move you on to the...
All around us, cops are dragging or carrying people off the road. Some of the activists have gone floppy. If you remember from our last episode, that's a tactic where protesters go completely limp to make it harder for officers to arrest them and move them into police vans.
And it's kind of impressive how effective it is, even for small people.
This is so much less violent than the protests I'm used to covering in the US. Most cops in the UK don't carry guns. They're not using tear gas or smoke grenades.
Still, things are getting dramatic.
Oh my God. Okay, dragging somebody on the ground. Oh.
You do not need to drag him. You have enough officers to carry him properly. This is not reasonable use of force.
This is getting more intense.
And you can see people who have been blocked by traffic, speed walking down the road, trying to get wherever they're going.
This is a busy dual carriageway.
Right.
This isn't just a quiet London road. This is one of the biggest intersections in London.
I think people are going to start being real late soon. So it's 8:50 right now, so this is prime commute times. And this is Monday morning, and it's raining. So once it hits 9, I'm sure people are going to be incredibly pissed off.
Yeah, people are definitely pissed off.
You're stopping all the traffic. This is not best. I think you think it is best.
A woman who's on foot and clearly late for work is now arguing with the group. She's furious.
If I don't go to work, are they going to pay me?
We hate doing that to you. We really do.
But you have to do it here.
But we do it because this is
so
important.
After this you're going to stop? You're not stopping, is it?
We're not going to stop, no.
Yeah,
not until the government stops.
So you're going to do it every day?
We are, and we have to.
Remember, during their training, bees were taught how to de-escalate in a situation like this.
And it is hard. That does not cause us pleasure because we're all really feeling people. But the thing is that it's the only way, and that despite causing people harm, it's causing people more good to do this. And that's
The woman speed walks away.
You can see people hugging each other after that exchange with that woman.
But she's not the only one who's incredibly angry today. We managed to get some reactions from drivers stuck in traffic.
Should lock them up. Lock them up. Absolutely disgusted with them. I'd get the fucking fire brigade and I'd fucking hose them all down and get shift on them.
There are people in trucks, very posh-looking folks driving luxury cars, commuters on double-decker buses, because, of course, we're in London.
But Just Stop Oil is not letting anyone pass.
As an electric car driver, I thought you might have let me through. You know what I mean?
Don't stop oil. Stop to be stupid. Motherfuckers.
We've missed an important hospital appointment, and why should the police waste their time for you? Shame on you. Get a conscience, you bunch of idiots.
I was scanning them there looking for a job because I'm looking for labourers and they seem to have nothing else to do.
A few people walk by and actually heckle the group.
Oh, people were saying to like execute them, to throw them in the river, like kind of medieval threats.
Then this guy shows up.
It's a joke! What a joke! What are you doing here? Get out the road! You're wasting everybody's time and petrol! All these guys, their engines are running all the time, wasting more bloody oil, you nutters!
A middle-aged man has biked over with a megaphone and an iPad where he's typed out a counter-protest sign in maximum font. He's come to troll Just Stop Oil in real life.
Just out of interest, how did you find out about the march?
I just went to the gym and I came out of the gym and they were there.
Do you always go to the gym with a megaphone?
No, I went home and got my megaphone. I live very locally, so.
Aaron's right. It makes sense to have experienced people hold up the back, in part to deal with situations like this.
Let's actually zoom out for a second to explain what you'd see, say, from a drone hovering above the action. There are protesters at the front marching slowly, and some are holding banners. There's a facilitator at the head facing them, walking backwards and shouting encouragement. And then in the back are Aaron and a few others, mostly bigger people who, like he told us, have done this before. So they know how to deal with backlash from the public, especially if it becomes physical.
And one more thing, there are a lot of cops here too. They're literally walking with the group, half security detail, half menacing presence.
I think the police officer actually went and interceded when a driver started laying on the horn and flipping them off. He went over immediately and started talking to them because I think they were worried that he was going to get violent with the protesters. Like, I think he's actually holding them back there. I can't see.
Maybe a driver would drive into them if the cops weren't right there. It's definitely something that happens in the U.S.
And keep in mind, there are way more protesters than police at this point, which is good for Just Stop Oil's strategy.
So basically what they're doing is strategically they're coming out in blocks to overwhelm, which is really smart. I think that they sub in and out. It's like a team. It's like a basketball team. They like throw people in, take them out.
We're still looking for other familiar faces from the training a few days ago. And then we spot one.
It's Charlotte, the 19-year-old student. She's now marching towards the front, walking arm in arm with another woman.
Did you sleep last night?
Not very well.
Yeah.
But a bit.
Okay.
Which I'm grateful for.
That's better than I've heard from some people.
Yeah.
Are you expecting to be arrested today?
Yeah, I am.
How do you feel about that?
I feel scared and I feel sad. It's not something I want to do, but it's something I know I need to do because we've tried everything else and it doesn't change anything. And we are right at the point where we need to completely change how we structure our societies and how we make our energy. And
I'm sorry. I know it's hard.
A few people around Charlotte seem to be getting emotional too, almost like they're all absorbing each other's feelings.
Yeah, I'm here because I think that this is the only way that I can do anything and the only way that I can live with myself over the next decade.
Yeah.
So if I feel I've done everything I can do. I've done a lot of other stuff. I've done a lot with XR. I've done a lot of petitions and I've voted and I've written letters to my MP and I've done everything else you're meant to do in a democracy for years and it hasn't changed. So I don't see another way of creating a future that I want to live in other than this.
Yeah.
When we get back, we explore why emotions might be running so high today.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Commercial Insurance. Business owners, meet Progressive Insurance. They make it easy to get discounts on commercial auto insurance and find coverages to grow with your business. Quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliated and third-party insurers. Discounts and coverage selections not available in all states or situations.
Okay, here's where we should zoom out for a minute to talk about how it's getting harder and riskier to protest in the UK. In 2023, the UK passed a new anti-protest law called the Public Order Act. It's a direct response to Just Stop Oil and other disruptive climate action groups. This law makes it much easier for cops to arrest protesters, and it comes with harsh penalties. Slow marchers can be convicted of up to a year in prison and limitless fines.
The United Nations calls the law draconian and deeply troubling, and says that it's bad for the UK's human rights record.
And we're seeing this new law in action as we speak.
Right. Only a month before we arrived in London, police used this law to arrest famous climate activist Greta Thunberg.
In video footage, you can see people jostling and shouting as city police handcuff Greta and shove her into a van. It's chaotic.
Move back! Move back! Lock in the cage! Move back! Move back! Lock in the cage! Move back! Welcome to the air! Move back! Thank you, Greta! Thank you!
We cannot rely on politicians and the people in power to save us. They have proven time and time again that they always prioritize the fossil fuel industry.
And keep in mind, by the time we arrived, November 2023 was a volatile moment in the world.
It's by far the UK's biggest demonstration since the start of the Israeli bombardment of Gaza. Hundreds of thousands of people, many travelling from other parts of the UK, demanding an end to the killing.
What do we want? Ceasefire! What do we want? Now! What do we want? Ceasefire! What do we want?
After Hamas's October 7th attacks, Israel's assault on Gaza had been raging for over a month. Israel's airstrikes had already killed tens of thousands of civilians, many of them children, and were destroying almost all of Gaza. This sparked massive protests around the globe.
Many activists we met in London were participating in both slow marches and ceasefire rallies throughout the week.
For them, these movements are linked. Gaza is home to billions of dollars worth of oil and natural gas fields, which lie right off its coast. And oil companies will see their profits skyrocket because war increases demand for fossil fuels. And it's not only activists who are horrified by the unfolding genocide in Palestine.
Some weekends saw close to 500,000 people on the street, making them some of the largest protests in British history.
The police were busy.
So emotions were heightened, including at this slow march.
He's complying!
Oh, he's not.
I am complying. I am compliant. Ow! I'm compliant.
Okay, sir. You're under arrest for breach of Section 7 of the Public Order Act 2023. Necessity for your acts?
It's been almost 2 hours, and there's a sort of standoff.
Just Stop Oil has paused their march and is occupying like half a football field's worth of highway. The police, meanwhile, don't seem to have enough officers or vans to make more arrests, so they're redirecting traffic. At this point, we're all just standing around, waiting for something to happen.
So Andy and I go up to the police commander.
So how long do you expect this to last?
I would like to be able to tell you, but unfortunately the organisers will not identify themselves or tell us their plans.
Okay.
So I can't help you.
Right.
Is this quite an unusual protest?
No. It's becoming quite a norm, unfortunately.
I see a lot of other people filming, like on the police side, which is interesting. Is that just to like have identification?
Capturing evidence, identification. Yeah.
And you're trying to get their names, obviously.
That's all part of the identification process. If we are making arrests, we will need to identify who individuals are.
Do you have enough officers out here to arrest everybody?
We do, but not right here. There'll be some more coming.
And a few minutes later, we see exactly that. a whole new wave of police swarming the area, making arrests.
It's interesting from a tactical point of view that the police don't arrest the course leader walker, the head walker.
They did. They arrested one of them already.
They did,
and then they
earlier,
replaced.
so they subbed him out.
They replaced another person. In there.
I think they know.
Andy missed it, but the police arrested the safety facilitator, meaning the person directing the march, right away. But Just Stop Oil was prepared for this, and another person swooped in to take his place.
I think they think if you cut the head off the snake, like if you arrest the leader, stop.
And this new safety facilitator really commanded everyone's attention.
There's nothing they can do to me that's worse than what they'll do if I don't do this. Nothing at all.
This is Noah. He's only 18.
So there was another safety facilitator leading this march, and then did they arrest him and you replaced? Is that what happened?
Importantly, he wasn't leading the march, just like I'm not leading the march. We don't really have leaders. We don't have leaders at all. The point is, we're just here to make sure everyone's safe.
Sam, we've got to stop calling them leaders.
Old habit, sorry.
But yeah, since he was arrested, I stepped in to make sure everyone was safe on this.
Have you done this before?
I have not, no. But this is what is important. This is what is necessary to prevent the destruction of everything. And so it's absolutely worth it.
And have you been arrested before?
5 times.
5 times, okay. So is there a chance you're probably going to be arrested today, right?
So everyone here is coming here knowing they could go to prison for this. They've blocked us here to arrest everyone here. Yeah. Even if any of us tried to leave, they would probably still arrest us.
Okay.
So you just got to mentally prepare yourself for it.
At this point, the crowd is starting to thin out as more people are put into police vans. We don't see any more Just Stop Oil folks subbing in.
But up ahead, the police have managed to get another unit to block the road off. We're not sure what's going to happen. Are they going to trap us? So I ask Aaron, who's in the back.
What is going to happen right now?
I have no clue. I guess we didn't expect this, so we're improvising a plan on the side. This might be getting a little dubious because usually the routes are planned out ahead of time.
Now a ton of cops are surrounding everyone. At the front, Noah's getting arrested.
On one side is the traffic, and on the other, further down the highway, the police have barricaded the highway. So the protesters are really sort of splitting up and then walking. So a couple of them are going to keep on walking as the other ones are down on the ground getting arrested.
Aaron's getting arrested now. Oh, both these guys are.
A few officers pick Aaron up and drag him over to the van.
They're dragging him.
He's over 6 feet tall, so it's hard for them.
Dragging him into the van.
Handcuffs are coming out.
Officers are moving in to make their final arrests. We're able to chat with people as they're tied up, sitting on the ground. Something that's almost impossible to do in the US, for what it's worth.
And some of the handcuffed activists are trying to talk about the climate crisis with their arresting officers.
Most of them aren't engaging, but there's this one young woman, and an older cop is kneeling down, talking to her.
I can't do anything, can I?
This should be like, God, this should be so shocking. It should be so shocking that there are young people lying in the road right now because they don't know what else to do, because they look into their futures and they think, I can't do that, I can't live that future as it's currently predicted to be.
It's almost like each one is trying to talk some sense into the other.
This is not a problem of technology, it's a problem of lack of political will. And the reason why there's a lack of political will for our government is because they're financially benefiting from fossil fuels. They don't care about the children that are going to be impacted. They don't care about us. They don't care about you.
Nearby, a different officer who's standing with another young woman who was just handcuffed. He takes an almost apologetic tone.
We're, I can't pass comment, but, we don't necessarily, we're not scary people. If they're respectful to us, we'll be respectful to them. They are, we won't be using force unless we have to. So it's not, we don't live in a police state, so it's not.
These last arrests happen calmly. Everyone looks cold, exhausted, and probably hungry. It has been over 3 hours.
I think right now, as we're seeing, if you're one of the last people to get arrested and you've been lying on the road, now this is a long time. I think it's really anxiety-provoking.
One of the last ones to go is Charlotte.
Okay, they're gonna lift her.
Oh. All right.
1, 2, 3, lift. Go.
Okay. So 4 officers are lifting Charlotte, put her in the car.
Okay, so I think that's our cue to let's go and cross the road.
Okay. All right, let's go.
But we still need to find out where the police are taking everyone. They just arrested over 100 people.
Most everyone has been arrested, correct?
Yeah.
And so from here, where do they go?
They'll go to a custody. But
Okay.
bearing in mind, there's a lot of people that have been arrested, so it's custody suites across London.
Okay.
And then they'll have to be interviewed about the matter and go from there.
And do you think they're going to be taken to the same stations?
You'll need to speak to the press bureau about that for further information. I can say you've been arrested, they will be going to custody. Which police station, bearing in mind, there's a lot. So I don't know off the top of my head.
So it looks like Just Stop Oil's strategy has worked. Police officers can't really tell me where most of the folks they arrested are going because, well, there just isn't enough space for them.
The next couple of days are hectic. We're trying to get in touch with a few people who are arrested on the highway.
But we don't have that much time in London.
I think it's too late to go to a police station now, but
I don't see the point of that. It's like, what police station?
because they're literally taking them to all the police stations.
But like, and to find one person
that we know, yeah.
It could be anywhere in London. They are overwhelming the system. It's hard to find these people. More people are getting arrested. I don't think there's enough space to hold them.
It's tough to know what to do next. When I call one of the law firms that's representing Just Stop Oil protesters, they tell me that they're swamped with cases and they do not have time to talk to us.
We're also messaging Phoebe Plummer, trying to get them to sit down for a proper interview while we're in London.
But a few days later, while Ollie is out, I realize that isn't going to happen.
Did you see my email?
No. Phoebe got sent to prison for 6 months.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Phoebe was jailed that week for slow marching in London.
We're seeing the courts hit these protesters with heavy punishments in real time.
But it's not clear yet how hard they'll come down on first-time arrestees.
We finally did catch up with a few of the new recruits we interviewed that day. If you remember Jake, the very polite young man who slow marched for a whopping 3 minutes, well, he was held in jail for about 19 hours and then released.
And a few months after leaving London, we tracked down Rishi. We met him at the nonviolence training, but he was actually arrested at a different slow march than the one we were at. He spoke to us from his home in Manchester, and he explained what happens once slow marchers are arrested.
I was held in custody for 19 or 20 hours.
Almost a full day.
Yeah, that was horrible. That was definitely by far the worst part of the experience. I'm also not white and aware that changes the dynamic between me and my officers slightly. So I think I'd kind of prepared myself for the worst.
Can you tell me more about it?
Sure, yeah. The custody cell was humbling, if we put it that way. It was bleak and cold, and there's just like a toilet like seat in the room, just like not blocked off by anything. Like we're not even sure if the cameras can see it or not. And yeah, like horrendous food and with like no sense of time. And I know it was only 20 hours, but it felt like a lot longer.
Yeah.
And the funniest thing happened, which was I asked, they confiscated my book that I'd like planned to take in, which is horrible of them. So I asked for a book and they did give me a book, but they gave me a book on the Rwandan genocide and I had to read about 200 pages of that. And the funny thing is, I've heard many similar stories from other people. So I'm starting to think they have a collection of these like really morbid books that they make you read in a prison cell, basically.
What book did you bring? What were you hoping to read about for 19 hours?
To be fair, it wasn't much better. I'd brought The Handmaid's Tale. But
Rishi still has a sense of humor, but he says the last few months have been rough. He's been watching his friends wind their way through the courts while he awaits his own court dates in the spring.
It's been a bit tough to see the reaction to the kind of protest that we were engaging with. The kind of outcome of some of those cases has been quite tough. Some of our friends were remanded in custody for, a couple of months. Some were, sent to prison.
Now that it's been a few months, the courts have started to rule on arrested protesters. The judgments are all over the place. Some people are having their cases dropped. Others are being fined. And a few of them are being slapped with harsh penalties. But because this was Rishi's first offense, he's not likely to face a severe consequence.
When I asked him how he's feeling about his future, he had a similar answer to Eddie Whittingham. It seems bleak right now, and he's not just thinking about himself.
For me, it's also worrying about the futures of like the friends I grew up with in rural India. Like in the past, these sort of indigenous groups have led, agrarian lifestyles, like self-sustaining farming, basically. And that lifestyle is basically not really viable for them anymore. And so they have to kind of pursue these horrible, back-breaking manual labor work where they kind of, they'll go to a totally unknown city somewhere halfway across India and just treat us basically like migrant labor slaves. And just, thinking about like what they are and will have to go through, which, none of what I've had to go through compares to. Yeah, that was like the main motivation in a way. And the thing that would always like kind of compels me.
To be a climate activist. It's interesting to hear what motivates these activists.
Few of them actually see themselves as radical, even if their government has charged them as criminals. Like Rishi said, what he's facing in the UK for protesting can't really compare to what some of his friends in India are living with. Their whole way of life has already changed.
Eddie said something similar, too, when we asked.
You've been described as a radical climate activist. What do you say to that?
I think that's a great label. Although I have to say it's not entirely true, right? Because, in many areas of the world, particularly in the global majority world, people get killed for civil resistance, right? People get killed for protesting. People get killed for opposing deforestation where they live, or, a mine being built, or, so a lot of people don't have a choice whether to engage in resistance or not. We're immensely privileged in the UK context that we've got a choice either to be in resistance or not.
He's right. According to Global Witness, roughly 2,000 climate activists have been killed in the past decade. In 2022, that was a rate of one person killed every other day, and the real number is believed to be much higher. The hotspots for these killings include Colombia, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and the Philippines, places where climate change is already impacting people's lives in dramatic ways.
And at the same time, governments from the UK to the US to Guatemala to India, they're enacting new laws to criminalize protest, and it's in response to environmental groups.
The protesters we spent time with in this episode, people like Eddie, Rishi, Charlotte, and Aaron, are protesting in such a mild way. But their government says they're criminals.
It begs the question, and it's one that Just Stop Oil asks a lot. Who are the real criminals here?
On the next episode of Sabotage, we're focusing on two people and their love story as the government tries to force them apart. Sabotage is an original production from Good Luck Media. The show is hosted, reported, and executive produced by Samantha Altman and me, Alessandra Ram. Our producer is Hannah Chinn. Our consulting senior producer is Rebecca Sananes. Our field producer is Andy Fallon. Our audio engineer is Erick Gomez, with original music by Daniel G. Harmon. With executive producers Adam McKay and Stacey Roberts Steele. Produced in partnership with Yellow Dot Studios. Sabotage is represented by Drew Wellborn from WME and Andrew Randoni from Bala in Los Angeles. Our show art was designed by Louisa Betancourt. Special thanks to Nick Carden of Carden Audio. Good Luck Media is an independent journalism studio where climate is the main character. We'll see you next week.